Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo. The first time in this year, the Bison men's basketball team lost a game. Full recap from last night. Plus, it's time for the Super Bowl. We got picks with my dad. Hot Mic starts now.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo. Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to the first time that happened edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV, good morning, everybody. In Sioux Falls, KNBN in western South Dakota, and all parts in between at Inforum.com. It is Friday, the 6th of February, 2026. Ready to wrap up the week in style. Good morning, everybody. I am Dom Izzo, host of said program. Welcome to our show, and thanks to Sam Getzinger for filling in for me yesterday. I had some dad duties to do, which were fantastic. It was great to spend some time with the Jackman at his school yesterday, so thanks to Sam for filling in for me. And back here in the big spot today is the day before the day before the day, as Super Bowl 60 is set for 5:30 on Sunday night. We'll declare a champion about 9 o'clock, probably with everything that wraps up with commercials and all that. And the halftime show will be about 9 o'clock on Sunday night, barring overtime, to wrap up this NFL season, whether it be the Seahawks winning a second Super Bowl championship or the Patriots get a 7th. Can't even say that out loud. We'll get into that coming up later on. Much more on that in our second hour of our show today. We've been going crazy on that coverage this week, and rightfully so, with everything that the connections we have for the game, let alone for the two guys that played for the Bison. Obviously, the Seahawks quarterback who was the Vikings quarterback a year ago. The Patriots have two offensive linemen that were playing for the Minnesota Vikings as of last year. Yeah, there's no shortage of connections for the game, and we'll dive into all that coming up in our second hour. As we sit here today, the 6th of February, 2 weeks from now, we are right into tournament season. State wrestling tournament going. 3 weeks from now, we got hockey, and then all the basketball fun to come. So from now until basically the beginning of March, we're going to check in various Class B, Class A teams. We've done plenty with the big schools here, and that's not to slight them, but we've done plenty with them. Now, over the next month of shows, we're going to check in with various North Dakota Class B, Class A boys and girls teams. Today, you're going to meet the number one ranked team in Class B girls basketball out of Flasher, North Dakota. They've had a dynamite season. We're going to do that, sprinkle that in here over the next, I'd say, 25 days or so to get us ready for those two tournaments. The girls Class A this year for the first time will be in Jamestown. The girls Class B is heading to Minot. And that'll be a month from now, 1 month from today. Also a month from today is the Summit League basketball tournament, where North Dakota State will be playing. If they'll still be playing, we don't know. If we learned anything from last night, is that on the men's side, it is as wide open as it could be, as we had two upsets throughout the week. And for the first time, as I mentioned in our tease, in 2026, the North Dakota State men's basketball team lost a game. They had not lost since prior to Christmas in El Paso. They had beaten all opponents since then. Denver changed that last night. The moving pictures from the game showed exactly what happened. This Denver team came in. They were motivated, led by one Carson Johnson, who we saw dominate for the Dragons last year. He was great last night. Denver built an 11-point lead. The Bison began their comeback in the second half with a Markai Strickland and one. Strickland was good last night. He had 19 to pace NDSU, got Damari Wheeler-Thomas back. Andy Stefanowicz will feed this to Tay Smith, who made 4 monster threes. This and one got NDSU back to within 3 at the under 11 timeout. It's a 2-point game when Noah Feddersen drives and scores. The made free throw gives NDSU a 1-point lead. Denver answers right back with a Jeremiah Burke 3. The former Bison also played inspired last night. Johnson with his fadeaway gives Denver a 2-point lead. It's 63-61 when Andy Stefanowicz drives and scores and ties the game for NDSU with 5.5 minutes to go. After that, though, Denver took over. Burke with a really acrobatic and one to give Denver the lead back. Then a couple of really strange possessions. Here in the corner, Wheeler Thomas loses it. Stefanowicz picks it up and then throws it to nobody. And Denver says, thank you very much. Burke goes right in. He misses. The tip, though, from Zane Nelson is good. And the Pioneers take a 4-point lead with under 5 minutes to go. It's still a 4-point lead when this basket there for Markai Strickland cuts it to 2. It's 70-68 with under a minute to go. Here's the play of the game. Nelson gives this, and there's the finish from Logan Kinsey with the hammer. That made it a 4-point Denver lead. The Pioneers would make their free throws down the stretch. That's a great pass from Carson Johnson. Everybody was focusing on him. Kinsey, who was, by the way, an all-NSIC player in his own right for the Dragons last season. Another one of the guys that came with Tim Bergstrasser. And Denver, in its final game in Fargo as a Summit League member, snaps the Bison 9-game win streak. 78-71 the final. Johnson, actually a pretty pedestrian night for Carson at 20 points. Burke had 15 in his return to Fargo. Zane Nelson, another D2 transfer, had 19. Bison just were all out of sorts on the offensive end as they are dealt their first league loss. Afterwards, more questions than answers.
We just didn't execute how we normally do. Something was off. I really couldn't tell you right now because I didn't have time to reflect on it after the game yet, but I don't know.
That you guys might have been flat at certain points in the game, maybe in the first half when you got down by 11 or 12?
I don't even think it's that. I don't think it was flat. We were playing good defense. They were just making shots. Like, shots were going in. We were playing defense. They were knocking them down, so.
Give Denver credit. I thought they were extremely physical. I thought they had a game plan that they executed, and we didn't execute offensively the way we talked to, especially in the first half.
Kind of your immediate, I guess, reaction to Damari, getting back, kind of getting into things?
I think, it's part of it. He's been out for a couple games, and there is a rhythm to this game, and there is a wind and an endurance to this game. Damari was sitting right in there next to me. That had zero to do with why we lost.
A lot of frustration there out of the Bison men last night as they just were out of sorts. Offensively, could not get really anything going. Fell behind by as many as 11 in the first half. Got it to 6 at halftime. Denver pushed it back up to 11. Bison ended up shooting for the game 40%. Denver shot 51% from the field last night. And more importantly, Denver came in as the worst defensive team in the Summit League, averaging opponents were averaging about 85 a game on the Pioneers. The Bison scored 71 last night. And that last question from Blake Engelbretson from Bison Report asking about Damari Wheeler-Thomas's return to the lineup, I don't know if it threw things off kilter. Certainly, Damari wasn't himself yet. And again, he's been out for 2 weeks after the injury that suffered against Denver 2 weeks ago last night. Just some careless turnovers. Bison turned it over 10 times, which is an egregious amount. But when they happened, was critical. Stefanowicz had a couple turnovers. Andy had a rough night from the field, was 2 of 8 overall. He had 5 assists, which is typical for him, but just an off-kilter night for Bison men's basketball, and so they have lost for the first time, and the door is now open. St. Thomas is a game behind, and so is the University of North Dakota. The Fighting Hawks have won 5 in a row. Last night, they fell behind. As Paul Sather said in his post-game interview, he didn't recognize his team at halftime. Omaha had built a 10-point lead. Lance Waddles, the former Bison, Again, it gets back to 10 with 17 minutes to go in the game. Then the Fighting Hawks caught fire. Harris hits a 3. Grayson Ullman, their sensational walk-on. We talked to Sather about him last week, hits a big 3. The lead is 5. Omaha, though, would answer back with this 3, gets it back up to 8 with 12 minutes to go. Now UND had cut it to 1. Waddles misses the finish there. Makes it a 55-52 score. Crazy end of this game. It's a 59-57 game. Ullman drives and scores, ties the game at 59 with 3.5 minutes to go. Now it's 60-59 Omaha. Ullman, again, is a walk-on. That counts as a goaltend. Now it's 61-60 UND with under 3 minutes to go. Same score. Guga Nastashvili, the big man, the Latvian big man, scores here. It's 63-60 Fighting Hawks. They get a stop, get the ball back. Of course, Eli King, how many big shots has he hit this season? We know the winner against Winthrop and St. Thomas. There, the lay-in. It's a 5-point game. It's 70-68 now after the teams trade some free throws. King with the baseball pass up. Harris finishes. You think that's going to be the dagger with 17 seconds to go. Omaha says no. They miss this. Tony Osborne hadn't scored a point all game. Just throws it up, makes it. It's 74-73. UND makes its free throws, and the clock never started. Waddles nearly tied it at the horn. But UND hangs on and wins it 76-73 for a 5th straight victory to get to 8-2 in league play. So the 2 games last night, obviously the Denver beats North Dakota State 78-71. UND gets the win over Omaha 76-73. We had 2 men's games on Wednesday with St. Thomas beating South Dakota State in Brookings. And South Dakota rallied to beat Kansas City on Wednesday night. So the up-to-date standings as you wake up today. The Bison are still in first, but now it's just a game lead on St. Thomas and UND. And know this, the Bison still have road games at both of those teams coming up. Then there's a gap. South Dakota, who play the Jackrabbits coming up on Saturday night. That's on CBS Sports Network. That game is in Brookings. Omaha, who comes here tomorrow, suddenly that's a huge game for the Bison. And that Omaha team, the reigning champs, they're going to come in here. We know exactly what happened a couple years ago and what happened last year. That's going to be an awfully tough game. Omaha's won here 2 years in a row in Fargo. Then the Jackrabbits. Then Denver. And Denver is going to be a sneaky team. Whoever ends up being, wherever Denver goes, if Denver's the 4, the 5, the 6, or the 7, that is going to be, as our guy Greg Steeman said last night, an extremely difficult Summit League opening game. And it sure seems like Kansas City and ORU are going to play in the 8-9 game to start the Summit League tournament in Sioux Falls on that opening Wednesday. So that's where we're at on the men's side after last night's games. Meanwhile, for the Bison women, same old, same old. As you wake up today, they still have not lost a basketball game in 2.5 months. Last night in Kansas City against a team they perennially struggle with. Last year they lost in Kansas City. Didn't score a basket in the fourth quarter. Well, new team, new deal. Marissa Frost was unconscious last night. Watch this, what happened in the second quarter. That's 1-3. Here's a second 3. Turned what was a 1-point game into a laugher. Later in the second, Molly Lenz feeds it. Frost says, okay, drills it. That's her 3rd made 3 of the quarter. Bison up 6. Later, catch, shoot, make it. 4 made 3s. The lead goes to 9. Now it's a 14-point. How about another one? She made 5 3s alone in the second quarter. The Bison go up by 17. Then some cautious moments here. Avery Coonan grabs a rebound here, then collides with a Kansas City player right there. Gets a cut right above her right eye. Had to leave the game. They couldn't stop the bleeding for a bit here. I was looking over on my iPad here, wondering that's not good if Kunin had to leave. She's gone. Bison are still scoring. Abby Kraswinski drives and scores, puts the lead up to 23. It's a 24-point game. Riley Simon is still giving them nice minutes here on the high-low to Carrington Asp, who scores. Lead gets up to 26 at one point. Kunin came back into the game wearing number 11, scores here. And again, she had to leave the game because it started to bleed, which we'll show you in a second the extent of what happened to Avery. Nice feed here from Abby Graham to Asp to finish it off. The Bison roll the Roos last night, 74-49. NDSU wins a 19th game in a row and stays unbeaten in Summit League play. Frost finishes with a career-high 29, made 8 threes last night. She was fantastic. Kunin finished with 7 points. She did get into double figures in the rebounds, as she had 15 rebounds. But if you were looking at the box score and you didn't see the game last night, like, oh, what happened? Was Kunin off last night? No. She got hurt. So here again is the play that happened in the third quarter of the game, as Avery had to leave the game for a second time there. We saw the initial collision, and you could see she's bleeding from the right eye. Training staff, it's right above, like on the eyebrow area there, has to attend to her. Again, here's the replay of what happened. Is she grabs it in typical Kunin fashion, goes and scores, and then going up the court right there, collides with Alani Bennett, one of the great players for Kansas City. They couldn't stop the bleeding there on the bench. She wants to get back into the game and couldn't. So, okay, we got to take you back into the locker room, which she was off the floor for a good 5, 6, 7 minutes there, as Bison had to adjust for it with Kunin out of the game. So she leaves, and obviously trying to stop the bleeding. She comes back wearing number 11, and then the cut opened again. You can see Kunin explaining to Jordy Collins for a second time what happened, because she had a patch over. Again, you can see right there, she scores again, and then coming up the floor, you can see she's bleeding again from above the eye because the patch came off. Then she comes out with the headband and played there. She just wanted to get back in the game. Thankfully, she was okay, which is obviously great news for the Bison, but an eventful night for the Summit League Presumptive Player of the Year last night. So when you look at her stat sheet from last night, may not be indicative of exactly what went down. Also in the league last night, for the first time this year, Omaha beat a Division I team. They beat North Dakota 58-54. That is just the third win of the season for the Mavericks. And South Dakota was actually trailing at Denver. Remember, USD just beat South Dakota State. They end up beating Denver 53-42. So no drop-off there for the Coyotes. So the up-to-date standings on the women's side. NDSU maintains its 2-game lead in the loss column, with South Dakota and South Dakota State each at 8-2. The Jackrabbits beat St. Thomas on the road on Wednesday. USD's got a game in Tulsa coming up tomorrow. You remember, ORU beat South Dakota in Vermillion by 20 earlier this year. Then the Golden Eagles, Kansas City, St. Thomas, Denver, and then UND and Omaha wrap it up the bottom of the league standings. So an eventful night last night. Bison women keep rolling. Bison men have opened the door in the Summit League here with 3 weeks to go in league play, man. Look out for the next 21 days of what's going to happen there. We got a packed show coming up for you here today on this Friday morning. Our guest lineup is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Coming up in a few minutes, you'll meet the head coach of the number 1 ranked team in girls Class B basketball in North Dakota, Taylor Krenz, the head coach of the Flasher girls. He'll join us coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, we'll get our Super Bowl fix. You heard from Mark Zabel yesterday. We obviously had Gray on the show earlier this week. We had Jalen Sundell. You'll have Bob and Korena Sundell. The Sundells will join us from, where are they at? I believe they told me Santa Clara, or San Jose, excuse me, is where they're at. That's where the Seahawks are staying. They just got in yesterday. My conversation with the Sundells, a lot of fun. I've known them for a long, long time. Big-time stuff going on in Maryville, Missouri as well. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. And our final football pick edition of the year with my dad at 10:35. Before he gets on an airplane, he's going to Daytona next week for the Daytona 500. So we'll check in with Pops to get ready for what he's got planned for Super Bowl 60. That's coming up to wrap up the show here on this Friday. So a lot to get to wrap up our week in style. We'll take our first break. Hot Mic is off and rolling. We're back on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KNBN, and Inforum.com after these messages. Welcome back, everybody. Friday morning edition of Hot Mic off and rolling. It is a Friday night. No shortage of sporting events happening. We've got Game of the Week back tonight here on Extra with Red River and Davies girls hoops. Coverage begins at 7 on WDAY Extra from the EDC. Our ticker has all the games coming up on the EDC tonight and a busy night. As we mentioned, it's February, so there's no shortage of things happening around the area. We'll keep you posted on all that coming up tonight on our sports at 6 and at 10, diving into another busy weekend of local sports happening around the area. Taylor Krenz is going to join us here in about 10 minutes from Flasher. One of the other great events going on this weekend, Super Bowl weekend notwithstanding, big week of college basketball. UND hockey's got a big series tonight with Duluth. The Wolves will play tonight with their new lineup. Io DeSumo is going to be introduced actually later today. The big trade the Wolves made. No Giannis. The Wolves did make a deal, though. So they did bolster some depth on the bench, which is needed, especially guard help to go down the stretch. And they may still sign Mike Conley again after Conley got traded again. It's part of a deep NBA rule that you can do that if you're traded twice and released, you can go back to the team. So who knows? They could have a reunion with Mike Conley down the road. They got the Pelicans coming up tonight. But one of the great events, and I watched it a bit yesterday, will again today. We know the Olympics are going as well. The Waste Management Open is going, which is the PGA Tour's yearly rock concert that happens in Phoenix. Our guy Tom Hoagie was playing yesterday. He plays his event every year. Crowd either loves him or hates him depending on how he fares at the 16th hole. Yesterday at the 16th hole, they didn't care for him. This is what happened yesterday at the 16th as he put his tee shot. He's going along okay, put it in the bunker. He got booed leaving the tee box, heading up to the green. Pitched out. That was for par. Misses that. Ends up tapping in for a bogey. That was where he finished even par for his round yesterday. Opening round of 71. He's tied for 55th after the opening round at the Waste Management. He only hit 6 greens in regulation yesterday. 6 fairways as well. Still shot 71. That's actually pretty darn good. You saw the crowd there. Again, it's literally they just let people in and it's a free-for-all. We talked about this a couple years ago where they didn't have anybody at the gates and it just was like a stampede of people that were frankly hurting other people, which was kind of scary. And hopefully they've drawn the reins in a little bit. But Tom will be playing again later today. We'll see if he can make the cut. He has in his first couple events after that top 10 finish he had a couple weeks ago. Last week, did not play well on the weekend at Torrey Pines, which is rare for him because normally he plays that event pretty well. He will tee off later today at 2:30, so he's going to play in the afternoon window, and the Golf Channel will have coverage of that coming up later today. So we'll keep our eyes peeled to see if he'll be able to play the weekend on what is one of the more festive events they have on the PGA calendar. Next week, it's Pebble Beach. which is going to be the 4-year anniversary of when he won at Pebble. It was during the last Winter Olympics, actually, when he won at Pebble Beach. Now he'll have a chance to see if he can do it again. That's obviously one of his favorite courses and where he got his first PGA and only PGA Tour victory. That comes up on the calendar next week. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that as well. Part of a big-time sporting weekend going on. And I'll save this for our second hour because the Olympics are actually underway. The United States women's hockey team won yesterday in its opening game against Czechia. They'll play Finland supposedly tomorrow. The Finnish women's hockey team had to postpone its game with Canada because they basically came down with a stomach bug. They only had 10 players able to do a pregame skate. The IOC decided to, instead of expose the Canadians to this and potentially wipe out the tournament, to postpone the game to next week. Now the United States team is supposed to play Finland tomorrow at 9:30. We haven't heard anything yet if that game is going to happen 24 hours from now. The men's hockey tournament doesn't begin till early next week. The NHL season is now officially shut down. The final games were last night. Now the team's players will make their way from the United States to Italy, and that will begin early next week, which will be quite the spectacle of what's going to take place across in Milan. And we are restricted on what we can show you, what we can't. Anything happening today is off limits. We'll get into that coming up later on in the show. But we'll take a break. We come back. We'll dive into some North Dakota girls Class B hoops. The number one team is the Flasher Bulldogs. You'll meet them. Taylor Krenz will join us when Hot Mike resumes after this. Welcome back, everybody. Friday morning show off and rolling. About a half hour, we'll visit with Bob and Korena Sundell, Jalen Sundell's mom and dad from San Jose, and getting ready for Super Bowl 60 with two Bison All-Americans starting up front for the Seattle Seahawks. That's coming up in our second hour of the show. I mentioned off the top, though, for the next month, we are going to get you all clued in on some of the best teams in North Dakota girls and boys basketball in Class A and B. The Double A, they get all the attention, so we want to make sure we're highlighting some of the other teams across the state. And our first up today is right now the best team in girls Class B basketball. Last night they won, much like the Bison women, for the 19th straight time. Flasher is 19-0 on the season. It's great to have Taylor Krenz join us, the head coach of the unbeaten Bulldogs, the number one ranked team after scraping out a win last night. He joins us this morning. First off, congrats on another great win. A nail-biter last night. We were just visiting a little bit off air. Describe this season. Is this what you expected, or is this out of the blue for this team?
I mean, if you've been around our girls the last 3 off seasons, then you know the type of work that they've been putting in, and they've put a lot of time and effort into this. And the people that are around them every day and see the championship level effort that they put into practice, I don't think it's a surprise to them. People on the outside maybe, but the people in our building, it's not too much of a surprise.
So last night was when you got the win. Describe that victory and just getting a victory like that. How big can that be going forward? Because you mentioned that's your last game of the regular season.
Yep, and you know, it was really big for us to finish out our seniors' last home game and get them a win. Playing another really good team, Grand County Mount Regent made the state tournament last year and only graduated one, so played them early in the season and won by 5. And I thought we came out and played really well, and this is when you want to be playing your best basketball. So it was a great way to send those 4 seniors out in their last home game.
To have this kind of success and be rolling the way you are, knowing you got to, I'm sure you're telling the girls as well, you're getting everybody's best shot. How have they handled that?
I think they've handled it really well. We talk about how we can be proud of what we've done so far, but not satisfied with it. We still got to keep coming to practice, focus on going 1-0 every day and getting better.
What about this team has really stood out? You mentioned the work that's gone in over the last 3 off seasons. Why is it all clicked this year, in your opinion?
You know, I think these girls have been playing varsity basketball for a long time. We had a couple of these freshmen, or a couple of these seniors were starting when they were freshmen, and they're all playing by the time they were sophomores. And these juniors we got playing have been playing for a long time too. So I mean, they've got the experience on the court, and you know, when you have some of that senior junior leadership, it really helps out. And we have a great mix of girls where different people can carry us at different times. and that's huge. It makes it tough to game plan for us too, because if you take one thing away, then someone else can beat you.
This seems Captain Obvious question, but how much fun is the team? It's obviously it's fun to win, but what kind of fun are you having with this team right now?
I mean, the winning's obviously fun. I enjoy just being with them every day at practice. You know, I enjoy this group a ton. Being with them in the summer is awesome. Going to camps, being at open gyms, all that stuff. I mean, they've been a great group, and you know, I'm going to be really sad when these 4 seniors graduate.
Well, still got some time here to go, and I mentioned district is right around the corner, then regions, and you're hopeful for a trip to the state tournament in Minot. What is obviously the goals were laid out to see the regular season accomplishment? How big a deal is that now to get ready for the postseason, which begins next week?
You know, now everyone's 0-0. It doesn't matter what you've done. You could be 0-19 and win 3 games, then move on, win 2 games and move on to the next round. So, you know, we're just focused on continuing to go 1-0 every day and getting better. And, you know, whether it's watching film, practice, or a game, just giving our best.
What has this been like around school, around the area that the team has been winning, kept winning, and now I got to imagine it's a fever pitch now it's postseason time?
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely noticed a couple of faces in the crowd at our last game that I haven't seen at a girls' game in a long time. But, you know, it's pretty cool for them to get recognized, too, because they've put a lot of work into this. And, you know, it's good that they're seeing some of the results now.
Describe for you getting into coaching. Was this something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, I think I always kind of knew that I was going to go into coaching. My dad was my football coach. He coached our youth basketball for a long time. My grandpa coached in the state C tournament one of the years that they had that. So it's kind of been something that I always know what I was going to do.
So does your team know you were a pretty good athlete? You could do some stuff back in the day? I say back in the day, not that long ago.
They really don't like hearing about it, but you know, they probably know a little bit. Every now and then I got to step in and be the other team's best player in our scout and give us a look. So, but yeah, they don't really like hearing about it.
Say you could put the pads back on from your days at Jamestown? No, anything like that?
Yeah, not too often, but sometimes you have to.
So, how is this transition from going not that long ago you're playing to now being a coach? Is that help that you're not that far removed, honestly, from being a player?
I think so. You know, these seniors I think would have been like kindergartners when I was a senior, so they probably don't remember too much of it, but maybe they remember going to the state tournament that year and, you know, being around it. I remember when I think I was like a 4th or 3rd grader when our boys went. I remember going and watching and just that cool experience. But, you know, I think it's nice to me being a little bit younger, closer to their age too, just being able to relate to them. And, you know, biggest thing is build those relationships with them.
You're in the building as well. What is it like to have that connection as well, that you're not separate, that you're there inside the school every day?
I think it's awesome. I get to teach our K through 12, so I kind of get to know all of our kids as they're growing up too. And you know, I like that I get to coach our football team and our girls basketball team, so I coach most of our athletes. And you know, I just like being around the kids. We got a great group, and you know, it's been really enjoyable for me.
So I want to ask here, from your days in Class B to now, again, not that long a deal, but the level of athlete right now in Class B, both boys and girls, can you describe how much it's changed even in the last decade?
You know, it seems like teams are getting longer and more athletic every year. And I think kind of the shift to three-point shooting happened when I was in high school.
Wow.
I remember, you know, when I first started playing, there weren't a lot of teams that shot a bunch of them. By the time I graduated, everyone was shooting it. And, you know, it seems like it's just shifting more to layups and three-pointers.
How is that to coach now as well, where everybody wants to shoot a three, that they're not necessarily going inside anymore?
Well, we got to make sure that we can make the three. You know, we spent a lot of time in the off season working on getting shots up and shooting, because if you can shoot the three, you can really open everything up. And we got really good post player that teams double a lot. So us being able to hit the open three has been huge for us. And we got some other players that can get to the hoop. So we kind of make you pick your poison with that a little bit.
I believe,
but the shooting is huge.
Is this your fourth year as coach? Is that right?
Yep, my fourth is our head coach here.
How much would you say has changed in how you've developed as a coach from year one to what you're doing right now?
You know, I think I just keep trying to get better at what I'm doing. You know, I spent a lot of time reading things, looking at seminars, trying to add different stuff. And, you know, I just try to make it as simple as I can for them. And, I try to do my best to scout and put us in the best position that I can to win.
So District 8, you guys still do a district tournament, which is obviously that's not necessarily what everybody does. They do more of the super regional or happen in some part of the state. What's the challenge in that? No, these are teams you're going to play now for a third time starting next week.
Yeah, we have one of the best districts in the state too. We got a couple of really good teams. Central McLean has only one loss. Garrison's really well coached, and they're talented enough to beat anyone in the state. New Salem's a really good team. Washburn's a really good team. Both of them have 6'2", 6'3" girls, which in Class B basketball, that's like having a 7-footer out there and well coached. And Wilton's always well coached. So we got a super deep district, and this tournament's going to be really fun. And these teams are pretty familiar with each other too. A lot of times we play in the summer as well.
When I'm sure this day and age, it's hard to avoid anything. So when the rankings came out and saw you guys number 1, is that something you addressed with them? Didn't, or how did you even mention it?
Actually, we haven't talked about it at all, and I've been kind of happy that we haven't, been. I'm sure outside of practice they've been talking about it more, but I don't think that's something that they're really, focusing too much on. You still got to go out and go 1-0 every day.
You mentioned the teams around in your area. How much does that battle test you to say, if we're going to make state, we're going to have to earn it considering who you got to go through to make it?
Yeah, I mean, it's super tough district and region, and, our district and region schedule was really tough. We had some really good teams that we've had to play, and the nice thing with the new 3-class system is not just one team from our region could go. We could get 1 to 3 teams, and, we probably have some deserving teams that could finish in the top 8.
So I was going to ask you about, from your Class B background, that wasn't the case. How different is that for you to adjust to now that we may not win that semifinal, but our season's not done. We still have a chance to make it.
Sorry, my lights.
That's okay. You're all right.
I think it's a great thing for the state because you end up with 2 or 3 really good teams in the same area. They can still be represented in that tournament. And, I think the way you do it now, we're going to get the best 8 teams at the end. Yeah. And you're going to get, you can slip up once and still come back and recover from it, where before it was, if you lose, you're done.
Yeah. The finality of it was really, really difficult. Now it's not that case anymore. You have a little bit of a safety net there. Have you or I'm sure if the girls thought, hey, chance to make Minot, that not that far away, that we could have a heck of a environment if we're able to make it there?
We really don't talk about those type of things. Those will be more outcomes. We kind of just focus on the process. So, we talk about that, our long-term goal early, and then we kind of put that away and just focus on the day-to-day stuff going 1-0.
So now you're done here with the regular. What's the schedule now for the next little bit between now and next week?
We got finish up our JV tournament. They're in the semifinals tonight, so they got 2 more days of that, and then next week we'll practice. We got the play-in game next Tuesday, so then we'll find out who we play in the first round and start scouting that out. And we got to put together some of our best practices this next week.
Well, I really appreciate the time, bud. Congrats on a great year. Good luck the rest of the way, and maybe we're talking here in a month's time, okay?
Well, thanks for having me.
Good to see you, bud. There he goes. Taylor Krenz, head coach of the Flasher girls basketball team, the number 1 ranked team right now in girls Class B hoops. As we start the stretch for home, the latest poll that came out earlier this week on Wednesday, Flasher is number 1. LLM sits at 2. Central McLean, and you heard Taylor mention, in their backyard at 3. Benson County at 4. And Hatton Northwood at 5. Tioga, Kenmare, Maple River, and Glenburn just outside of the top 5 in girls Class B. The boys B right now, Central McLean is unbeaten, getting all first-place votes at 60-0. Then our Redeemers, Ray, and one of the players on Ray, Ty Barnum, we had on our show before the first of the year. The outstanding athlete who already has a Minnesota Golden Gopher offer in football as a freshman. The Bison actually offered him, I believe, last week. He messaged me that he got an offer from NDSU as well. So Ray is 3. Hankinson at 4. We featured the Pirates on WDAY Sports on Wednesday night with their great Ray Sean Earl, who we featured on our show several times. with Carter Malk leading them as head coach, and then Bishop Ryan at 5. That's on the boys' side. So as we now have made the turn to February and start keeping our eyes peeled on what's going to happen here over the next little bit, those are the teams right now that are on top. And again, this is year 3 of the 3-class system, and just visiting with Taylor about that because he went through it in the old 2-class, where if you made it to the region tournament, that was one thing, but then you still had to win 3 games. There was no safety net that there is now, which we've litigated this, and I'm not going to go down that road, but where if you lose in the semifinal game, suddenly the third-place game is your lifeline to still make it to state, because if you win that, then you go to the state qualifier game and have a chance to make it to the state tournament. Whereas, and I'm sure people still prefer this, to the old days, you had to win the quarterfinal game, you had to win the semifinal, and you obviously had to win the region championship to be one of the 8 teams to make it. And I think he brings up a great point where in past years, where some regions, and we've had it here in our own backyard, where Kindred and Central Cass on the girls' side were so far above everybody else that those were the 2 best teams, and one of them wasn't going to make state. You could say, well, that's the way you want it, but deservingly so, one team that was one of the best 8 wasn't going to make it. Now, that is not the case anymore. If you don't make it, then you didn't deserve to go there, frankly, in the new system of how it works in Class A and B boys and girls basketball in North Dakota. I'm a huge favorite. I have been. It's been a great success, and you've had more teams. Here's Flasher. I remember the Flasher boys made it with Taylor talking about. That was 2014, I want to say, because it was up in Grand Forks. We were at the Alaris when the Flasher boys made it. It was the first year we had the state tournament back, and I remember they were there. I don't know if they've been back since. I have to double check on that, but it's a big deal for towns like that. Appreciate his time here. All right, we'll wrap here. We'll come back, put a bow on our first hour. Bob and Korena Sundell coming up an hour or two. Back on a Friday morning edition of Hot Mic on. All right, wrapping up our first hour. Our thanks to Taylor Krenz for giving us a few minutes. Flasher girls, we mentioned, number 1 in the state in girls Class B basketball. A couple of things just want to clean up here from yesterday. If you missed, I don't know if Sam had a chance to mention this. Packers have added another Bison connection on their team. The hiring cycle is not done yet. Obviously, we know NDSU is going to have to make an addition at cornerbacks with Lewis Walker leaving after being here for a month to take the same job at BYU. So that job is open again. It happening at the big boy level. Friend of the show, Noah Pauley, former Bison wide receiver coach, who mentored many a great player, including one Christian Watson, left 3 years ago to take the Iowa State job. Had been there with Matt Campbell, was going with Matt Campbell to Penn State. Now he is heading to the Green Bay Packers. That was announced yesterday that Pauley will be the next wide receivers coach there in Green Bay. So he'll be coaching Christian Watson again, this time in the National Football League. Congrats to Noah, all-time guy. One of my all-time favorite interviews we've done for this show was actually our NFL draft show we did the night that Watson got selected in the second round by Green Bay. We had Noah on for, probably a half hour. It was fantastic, describing the draft process and the Packers reaching out and all that went into that. That was the season before Pauley left for Iowa State. So congrats to him. Another former Bison assistant is getting mentioned for a big-time NFL job, Connor Sanger. We've had Connor on a couple of times. He was a QC coach here, quality control coach, in his time in Fargo. He spent the last couple of years with the Arizona Cardinals as a quality control coach there. He's been interviewed by the Bears for their offensive coordinator spot. The Eagles, I believe, wanted to interview him for their QB coach position. I mean, those aren't small potato jobs. So we're talking about, and we will in the next hour, on the Bison players that are in the NFL coach-wise. Doing all right now. Connor Riley's coaching the O-line with the Dallas Cowboys. Now Noah Pauley is with the Packers. Bobby Babbage is there. Gus Bradley's got another gig. Back with the Titans, I believe, now, with Robert Saleh as the head coach. you can blink and there's going to be a Bison assistant somewhere in the National Football League. So we talk plenty about the Bison lineage of players. Some coaches are making their way up the ranks as well, which is pretty cool to see. So congratulations to Noah. And I tried to get Sanger on a couple weeks ago because he was coaching at the East-West Shrine game. He's the head coach of one of the teams, which, again, should have been the alarm bells going off that maybe something would happen. And we missed each other on that. But hopefully maybe we can make that happen after he gets a new job, because it certainly seems like he's going to be coaching somewhere pretty soon. So congrats on that. We'll keep you posted as that unfolds. All the NFL head coaching gigs are full. Now it's about finishing out staffs with the Raiders and the Cardinals, most especially those two teams, with LaFleur going to the Cardinals. Looks like Clint Kubiak's going to the Raiders once that is official, once the Super Bowl is done on Sunday night. All right, we'll wrap our first hour. We come back. Speaking of the Super Bowl, we'll head to San Jose. We'll check in with the Sundell families. They get to see their son start in Super Bowl 60. That's coming up when Hour 2 of Hot Mic begins after this.
This is Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 on this Football Friday, ready to rock and roll. Final hour of the week. We'll do NFL picks for the final time in the 2025 season, a month into 2026 with my dad coming up in about a half hour, and our full Winter Olympic preview coming up as well. That'll be in just a few minutes. But as we mentioned, everyone's attention is going to be focused on Santa Clara Levi Stadium, the home of the San Francisco 49ers, and Super Bowl 60 kickoff just after 5:30-ish on Sunday night on NBC. We'll get all the prop bets. We'll do all that good stuff coming up later on. And we've hit it hard and heavy this week, and for obvious reasons, folks, the fact that local stations like us, if you have any sort of connection, especially in sports, to the Super Bowl, you are going to exploit it as best you can. That's just the name of the game. And sometimes it's way harder than this year. Hey, there's an assistant coach who was here for maybe a year. Okay, well, there it is. There's our in. This year is such a layup, it's not even funny, right? The fact that the Seattle Seahawks will play against the Patriots on Sunday night, and in the past, it's been great. We had Carson Wentz on the show last year. Carson was the backup quarterback to Patrick Mahomes. He was going to be there on the sideline, but there was really no chance that Carson was going to play unless literally something happened to Mahomes like it happened this year. Like he physically couldn't be out there. The year before, Spencer Wagee was on the 49ers practice squad. He was going to be on the sideline, but he wasn't going to be playing in the game. You have to go back to Joe Haig, and we had Joe on. And of course, we had his mom, Janet, who's one of my all-time favorite people. The week of the game, the COVID year, when there was only 20,000 people allowed in the stands in Tampa. Heck, Joe almost had a touchdown catch in the Super Bowl that year. That's the last time we've had this strong a connection, let alone two former Bison. And again, not just guys that were here for a year or two, guys that were here for 4, 5, even 6 years that were All-Americans here. And not only are they going to be on the team, not only, they might play a little. No, they're starting in the Super Bowl. So for those that thought we've gone overboard on this, frankly, I would argue we couldn't do enough. And you heard from Gray on Monday's show. We had Dan Larson here on Wednesday's show, their former coach. Yesterday, Sam, I know, visited with Mark Zabel. And today, have a conversation with Jalen's parents, Korena and Bob. And a little backstory here on both of them. Bob Sundell, first off, and we've had Bob on a handful of times, one of the all-time great athletes in the state of Missouri's history. He's in the MIAA Hall of Fame for what he did at Northwest Missouri State. Unbelievable basketball player, unbelievable track athlete. Korena Sundell, not to be no shade there, an unbelievable basketball player in her own right. Their daughter, Serena, we featured on this show several times, was a fantastic 4-year starter at Kansas State, is playing professional basketball. She was drafted in the WNBA by the Seattle Storm, was cut by the Storm, now playing professionally in Australia. And their son happened to be a 3-year starter at NDSU, an All-American, and now wrapping up his second season with the Seattle Seahawks. So safe to say the Sundell family has got some athletic genes there. I visited them shortly after they landed in San Jose yesterday. Get their thoughts on what this has been like, what it's been like in their town where they live in Maryville, Missouri, and leading up to the Super Bowl.
Well, it's a whirlwind. You know, we really don't know what to expect. It's been, one thing after another, but it's all been great. We've enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, we're kind of pinching ourselves with this is really happening. And we've talked about it kind of jokingly, but now that it's here, it's amazing.
A lot of the family.
Sorry, Bob, go ahead.
I was going to say, a lot of the families are coming out on Friday. Us being Sundells, we wanted to get here Wednesday and take it all in. And part of that is because Serena was flying back from Australia and she got in Wednesday.
So, Korena, you told me that. How awesome is this that the family's together for this?
Oh, my gosh, my heart is full. The fact that she's able to come and experience this with us, I just couldn't be more happy that we're all together.
I know the Zabels have done almost everything. You guys have been right there. Korena, how many games have you made this year? Road, home, how many games have you been to?
We've made most of the home games. I was in Australia with Serena for a bit, but I'd say all of the home games we've gone to, and we've hooked up with the Zabels every time. We try to create like a NDSU tailgating experience the best that we can.
Bob, is it like the Fargo Dome times 1,000 when you've had? I know other parents have come, other Bison parents have been out there. What's this experience been like?
Well, so as far as the pregame, it's completely different than what you're used to in Fargo or even what we grew up with at Arrowhead, because it's a downtown stadium. So It's more of just, people milling around and lots of little pop-up tents and bars and restaurants and that sort of thing. But what has really become neat about it is that, we started hooking up with the Zabels pretty early on. We had a couple favorite spots, and then a couple other parents joined us. And then, the divisional game, I think we probably had 40 or 50 people there. And even some of the older parents that have had kids in leagues for a while, like, this is really great. We've never ran into this before.
That's amazing. Bob, I want to go back to right before the draft. He was battling his injury. Obviously, he didn't get to do the combine. I know I talked to you guys right before then that he told me right before the game with the Rams that wasn't sure when the Browns released him, didn't know what was going to be next. I mean, can you describe from that point to now he's going to be starting in the Super Bowl on Sunday night?
Yeah, a lot can happen in a couple of years, because he was, probably a couple weeks away from just taking another job, and there for a while he was driving for Uber. He had a couple of job interviews for things outside of football, and he kind of decided, well, I've gone this far, might as well go through the summer and see what happens. And obviously he's happy that he did.
Korena, what do you think, just imagining that this all played out from his days in Fargo? And we were talking, I remember being on the field in Missoula and the emotion of it being done, that it's still going. And there was maybe a time where, like Bob said, it may be done.
Yeah, there was some struggles he had, some challenges. The thing about Jalen is he just doesn't give up. And, we were all going through it with him. This journey, we take on the highs and the lows. And the highs are really high and the lows are really low. So when the doors started opening, his mood shift, our mood shifts, and, the Seahawks gave him a chance, and he just needed one team, and they were the only team that gave him a chance.
So, Korena, take me back to last year when the Seahawks, he's going to get a chance to play. Do you remember the phone call, what that was like back home?
Yeah, well, first of all, just being able to dress. He said, Mom, I think I'm going to dress. I'm going to be this signal caller for Connor Williams, and I'm going to hold up the signs. And I was so excited. And I said, Bob, he's going to hold up signs. He's going to be in a uniform. So that was amazing that he could even put on a uniform.
Bob, Dan Larson told me that his first time on the field was on special teams. Had he ever played special teams in his life?
I'm sure he has somewhere, somehow, but last year he also played a little fullback. He played a little tight end. He had a chance to get out there and see what it was like.
I thought the coolest part maybe this whole time, guys, and I don't care, whoever wants to go first, was right after Gray got drafted. He's out there with his mom and dad, and the one showman around is Jalen. When you saw those photos, what was that like?
Flashbacks. Flashbacks to when they were living together in games at NDSU, and obviously on a little bigger scale, but it was a good fit, obviously, for both of them. And not just Gray, but the entire offensive line, they really get along well, and that's important because they spend a lot of time together.
Mm-hmm.
Korena, what was their house like in Fargo? You remember that when they were roommates together?
Oh, yeah. I actually helped Jalen find that house, and it was a perfect house close to campus. It fit 4 guys in it. They had a pool table in their living room. I'm sure you've heard the story. And I was like, are you guys seriously wanting a pool table? They use that pool table quite a bit, but yeah, it was perfect for 4 guys. They put 4 football players in there, and they were taking turns mowing the yard and whatnot, and it worked out really well.
I want to, Bob, describe what it's like back home in Maryville. What is this like the whole season? And especially, I know I was giving you guys a hard time before, but the last 2 weeks run up, what is this like in your hometown right now?
Oh, everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. I mean, we have elementary schools that are sending them cards and sending video messages. We have a tough time going to the grocery store or going out to eat without people wanting to talk about Jalen, which is absolutely fine. We get it. We have become celebrities in our own right in the last couple of weeks to a certain extent.
How are you guys handling that? How's that going over the last couple of weeks?
It's great. I mean, we love it. We love everyone joining and being Seahawk fans. Now that the Chiefs are out, our community is embracing Seahawks and the blue and green, and we absolutely love it.
So, obviously, this is a huge family deal. Can you enjoy it? Like, can you enjoy the game, or is it too nerve-wracking to do that?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, we enjoy the game. Our son's been an offensive lineman now for a long time, and we still can't watch both the game and him at the same time. So I've kind of gotten to the point I just kind of watch the game, and then maybe if they show a video replay, I'll watch them on video and obviously go back and watch the game later on. But we've done a pretty good job of becoming just fans.
I was going to say, like, Korena, are you watching Jalen, and Bob, are you watching the game? Have you got like that divvied up like during it or not?
Yes, yes, that's exactly how it goes. I'm get up, next play, get up. I'm watching Nervous Nelly. Bob's, watching the whole game. But then, we go back and watch it together, and we can kind of focus more on what we missed the first time around.
So NBC's obviously doing the game, and they have the video intros. I know it happened already earlier this year. You're going to be there, but going back and watching, or for all the family watching, they're going to see his face and hear North Dakota State. What's that going to be like? I know you're going to be there live for everybody else to see him on TV.
It's going to be surreal. I know. And when he first ran out of the tunnel, being a Seahawk, it was very emotional for me. Tears, happy, high-fiving Bob, hugging Bob. So this is going to be surreal to hear his name running out of the tunnel for the Super Bowl. There's going to be a lot more hugs and tears from Mom, for sure.
There's a lot of family watch parties going on, a lot of Maryville watch parties going on. All of his high school buddies are wanting him to introduce himself as a Maryville spoof hound. I don't think he'll do it. But
that's pretty good, though, too, man. That'd
be pretty good.
But, I remember doing the story, talking to you guys when Serena was a freshman at Kansas State. Jalen told me he was the worst athlete in the family. Does he have the ultimate bragging rights, though, now that he's playing in the Super Bowl?
It's going to be tough to beat that, yes.
Yes, for sure.
Let me get the cart way before the horse. If the Seahawks win this, what do you think that's going to be like afterwards to find them on the field after the game?
us getting on the field is not going to be easy. So
Yeah.
we'll be more waiting at him. But apparently, if they win, they do have a friends and family and player after party here at a convention center. And the rumor was the last Super Bowl they won, Snoop Dogg performed. So we're excited to see who it's going to be this year. We hope we find out.
Just, I mean, to have this whole journey, and like we mentioned before, to have it, there's no more games to play. I mean, everybody's gonna be watching this. Korena, when I say that, what goes through your mind?
I just try to take a deep breath, at the games now and on Sunday. Just absorb, feeling blessed, so proud of Jalen and his hard work. We kind of get to reap the benefits of all of his hard work. And I tell my kids all the time through their journeys, soak it up, enjoy all the moments, because these are just once in a lifetime opportunities.
Last thing, guys, I really appreciate that. I want you to go and enjoy San Jose. How much have you felt the support from Fargo? There's two Bison. They're going to be starting. They're former roommates, and they're playing next to one another. What have you heard from up here about what the support is like?
I've had several texts from friends up there, and we still read the Inforum articles and have had several interviews, and it's really cool. And he's proud. We're proud to have that connection to Fargo and NDSU.
Korena, he's so straight-laced. If they win this thing, do you think he'll actually smile and enjoy it?
He will. This is, yes, he's kind of an even keel kind of guy, not too high, not too low, but yeah, we're going to see his teeth. We're going to see the big smile for sure. Yes, he's pretty proud.
Great stuff there with the Sundells. Got a chance to visit with them yesterday, and just you could see the emotion. They're nervous energy there, and the fact all four of them are going to be in at the stadium is fantastic. And we got, and shout out to our friends in Missouri that sent me the video in Maryville that at the football field where Jalen played and was the Mr. Football winner in the state of Missouri before he came north of Fargo as a spoof hound. That's the same town where Northwest Missouri State is, and a lot of pride back there for obviously what they got going on. And as we mentioned throughout the week, to hear North Dakota State twice over, that's recruiting gold for the guys up on the north side to try and play with that, but knowing full well they're just super excited to see what potentially could happen. And joining a really prestigious list of guys that have played. Steve Nelson, who was the first Bison to ever play in the Super Bowl, which was 40 years ago last month, playing for the Patriots against the 46 defense and the Chicago Bears. Stacey Robinson, who won 2 Super Bowls with the New York Football Giants, catching passes from Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler for the Giants when they beat Denver and they beat Buffalo. Phil Hansen, the great Phil Hansen, who played in 3 consecutive Super Bowls with the Bills, Super Bowls 26, 27, and 28. Just a remarkable run there. Ramon Humber played in 2. The great linebacker out of the Twin Cities that came and played in the early days of the Bison Division I run. Won a Super Bowl title with the Patriots in that second time, Super Bowl 53, I believe it was, and the Patriots beat the Rams in Atlanta. They got a chance to join, and Joe Haig, of course, we mentioned, in Super Bowl 55, winning for the Buccaneers in Tom Brady's 7th Super Bowl. You've got a chance to join that list of guys, and that's awfully, awfully impressive. Fun stuff. Carson Wentz, obviously, being the backup quarterback for the Eagles after he got hurt, leading them to the Super Bowl in 52 when they won it in Minneapolis. So it's going to be fascinating to see. We'll have more chatter on that coming up here when we do my picks with Dad in just a little bit. Let's break. We got some breaking Wolves news. We talked about it with possibility. It's become reality. We'll hit on that and a couple other things, including the Winter Olympics, which are underway. Breaking news on that. Hot Mike back after this. All right, short segment here as we get ready for NFL picks. We mentioned this earlier in the show. Now confirmed by our guy, Sham Charania from ESPN, reporting that reunion with the Timberwolves and Mike Conley is going to happen. Now, how this can happen is so in the weeds of the NBA. I'll try to explain as best I can. ESPN reports the sides are working on timing of him re-signing because, again, that affects him being the Wolves going over the apron on it. The NBA tax apron, I can't even – it's trying to explain hieroglyphics here. Conley was traded twice this week to Chicago, then to Charlotte, before being released and allowed to rejoin the Wolves. Now, here's the asterisk by this. Conley is allowed to re-sign with Minnesota because he was traded from Chicago to Charlotte and waived. If he was waived by the Bulls, it would not have been allowed. So because the Bulls traded him to the Hornets, and then the Hornets released him yesterday, the Wolves can get him back at a discounted price, which the later they wait on this, the more discounted it works, if I understand it correctly. So, long story longer, they traded Conley on, Tuesday? To create a cap loophole, to create more luxury tax base, so they could make the trade for Dosunmu, which they got, and then it ends up they ended up getting him back. I don't know. Hey, whatever works, man. I love Conley on the team. I'm telling you, I reflected it on Tuesday when found out he was going to be traded, that he was that playoff run in 2024 when they made it to the West Finals, they beat Denver. He was dynamite. He's not the same player now, but to have him back, there is, in any sort of capacity, to add him back, I think the team will certainly welcome that. And the fact they were able to add a guy who's shooting 45% from three-point range, and what Dosunmu is doing, let's go. He should be able to play tonight for the Wolves in their game with the Pelicans, which you cannot take for granted. Also, little uniform news to share on this Friday from our friends down the road in Minneapolis. A week ago today, the Twins and Derek Falvey were breaking up. This is the best Twins news we've had in months. This is their new navy jerseys. Let's get a full, better look at it. So this is going to replace the hideous ones that has Minnesota script across. I like the white version of this. This is fantastic. If this is, it's not going to be because they still have the gray jersey, which is fine. But if they wanted this to be the new road jersey all the time, let's rock with that. That is by far the best. The hat still stinks. The hat with the M on it, that's what Keeshaw's wearing in this photo. That one's still no good. But that's by far the best Twins news we've had in 6 months. Right? I mean, since July, when they decided to nuke the team. Yeah, that's probably because what else has been good for that franchise over the last 6 months? You tell me. That's probably it. Had to go to a uniform on that. All right, so sources are indicating the Winter Olympics are underway. And I understand for some that's not your cup of tea, and I had talked about it earlier in the week. But now it officially, competition has begun, and the games are going. We mentioned the women's hockey team played yesterday. There was a game going now in a shootout I was watching between Czechia and Switzerland. It has me. I was watching Lindsey Vonn ski this morning, which is amazing. And the fact she can do it with titanium in one leg and no ACL in the other is fascinating. But at this time, obviously, there's other stuff going on. Certainly, politically, there's certain things going on. And the timing of this is a deal as well. Now, Paris was obviously 6 hours ahead of us in the Central Time Zone, that in the summer we were able to enjoy this 2 summers ago with the events happening in the middle of the day. NBC is banking on that again for its coverage, basically starting today. The opening ceremony is coming up, I believe, at 1 o'clock today. That will re-air in prime time. So our poll question today, we've had it out here for a little bit. Are you interested at all? Will you watch the Winter Olympics? Can't wait? Just a little bit? Or not interested at all? That's fine. The events here are ranging from the fantastic to me, speed skating, hockey, downhill skiing, to the ridiculous, which is the skeleton, which is basically an event that all of us did if we were daring enough to do it as kids, which is going down a hill or mountain face first on basically a piece of cardboard. That's what the skeleton is. Or the luge, or the bobsled. Don't even get me started on Nordic Combined, which is ski jumping and shooting. Our guy Wallivan, maybe we'll have him on. He's a great Winter Olympic mind, the Norwegian that he is, and they are always good in the events. Or the biathlon. Cross-country skiing is actually, at the relay event, that's actually pretty good. Jesse Diggins is an Olympic champion from Minnesota on that. So I'm really interested to see what the outcry is for this over the next 2 weeks. Will people watch? I mean, college basketball is going to be thinking, hey, we finally have our time, and then baseball, we got spring training teams that are going to report it. It's an interesting time in the calendar to see if people care about it, because it's not the summer games. The summer games just carry a different weight to it. There's not nearly as many countries, obviously, because not as many countries have snow, and the amount of discipline sports are less. I'm just really interested to see what the next 2 weeks holds on that. And it's, frankly, if it's not in this hemisphere, it makes it difficult, I think, for especially people on the West Coast. I mean, there are events happening, frankly, middle of the night. They're not going to be interested in. We'll see. It all begins later today. We'll break. We come back. Our final football picks segment of the year. I'm sure he's going to bring the heat today. My dad is going to join us. We come back to give us the lowdown on Super Bowl 60. Yo. I can't hear you yet.
What?
I got you now. What's up?
Not too much.
How's your snow pile?
Getting going lower and lower every day. Hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, it was 45 yesterday, and now it's 10. So it melted
I
a little
see you
bit.
guys got pretty warm yesterday.
Yeah, it melted for a bit, which was nice, and then now everything froze over. Yeah, because now it's 17 degrees here today. So
Jeez. We're about the same, I think. Hang on. Let's see what we are. Yeah, we're 24 right now.
Well, next week's supposed to be warmer around here. So what's the schedule next week when you head out?
Wednesday.
What time you flying out?
2:00.
Okay. And is it a straight shot?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't bend it right straight through, no stops.
What time you get there?
I think it's like 5:30, 5:45, something like that.
Okay.
And we got an hour drive to our buddy's house, and we're set.
And that's where you're staying?
For the first couple days, then we're going right into Daytona after that.
Where are you staying there?
At another buddy's house.
Does
he just had a biopsy yesterday. He just found out he's got a mass in his belly, but he's supposed to go to the race with us. Hopefully he can make it.
Does this place have walls?
Yeah. He actually owns 2, so we might go in one of the other ones. We'll see. We're all staying there, all 7 of us.
Good Lord.
It should be fun.
I didn't even see. Let's see what the weather. I haven't looked yet. Have you looked yet what it's going to be next week?
It's supposed to be in the 70s, I think.
All right. Let's see.
A lot warmer where we first go because they're farther south.
So next Daytona Beach, next Sunday says partly cloudy and 68. That'll work.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Work.
As long as there's no rain.
When are you heading back? Tuesday?
Wednesday. Oh. Wednesday morning.
Oh, so you're doing a full week? Good for you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wednesday to Wednesday, yeah. Well, I didn't want to take a chance. I usually come back Tuesday, but I said, well, it's one more day, so we'll see. Hopefully it's better than last time.
Well,
at least I won't be popping pills.
I was going to say, it can't be much worse, no?
No. Last time was pretty rough.
Yes.
So.
All right, here we go.
if that was me and you, if you'd have went with a Boston, you'd have been living in the garage. I had a Yankee hat on, of course, which I usually almost always do, but she says to me, if I were you, I'd take that hat off. And I looked at what look at it to begin with. I ain't taking my hat off. I know where I am. Yeah, right.
You believe anything that guy says? Because I don't.
He said he was going to marry J-Lo, too, remember? I finally told your mom. I said, there's no sense. Let's just put TVs in the room because I'm only going to wake them up anyway. So
that's how I got a television?
Here we go. It's the final football picks edition of the year. I can't believe we've come to the end of the road. Here he is, my pops, joining us from lovely Oswego, New York here on a Friday morning. We've come to the end of the road, my man. We got one day to go, huh?
Hard to believe it's there already. Crazy.
So what is the lineup? What do you got planned for Sunday? What do you got going on?
I'm going to spend the first half with your sister and her husband and granddaughter, and then the halftime, because I'm probably not interested in the halftime, I'll just come home then. Watch the rest here.
Now,
it's supposed to be pretty cold.
Infamously, 2 years ago, right after your surgery, you were admittedly out of it. You missed the second half and overtime of the Super Bowl. There's no worries of that happening this time around, though, right?
Nope, not at all. So that's the first time I've ever done that. That was crazy.
So for people that don't know, in New York, betting is legal. So are you partaking? Do you have something you're going to do? You have a crazy bet you're going to do?
I might throw a couple prop bets in, but I won't bet either team. So
what are you going to bet? What are you thinking about?
Probably the receivers and quarterbacks for yardage, stuff like that.
Well, can I throw one at you? How about any lineman to score an offensive touchdown? We have two linemen in the game. The starting center and the starting left guard from the Seahawks are both former Bison. Right now, it's plus 2,500 on any line. Make some money there, bud. There you go.
Yeah, you put 20 cents on it, and then just if it hits, you're going to make pretty good money. But
20 cents.
What's the chance of that happening? Of course, it has happened a couple times this year,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
I guess you never know.
Come on, you got to throw something. Vrabel's a smart guy. He's a defensive guy. You got to do something. Right?
Well, especially with Darnold. He starts seeing ghosts. Anything can happen.
See, you're going to do that.
Well, he's made it this far, so go for it, buddy.
So here's the crazier bets on FanDuel right now. Both Sam Darnold and Drake May to each complete 25-plus passes is plus 2,000. That's a lot there. That's asking an awful lot there.
That's a lot of passing for both those teams.
How about
Darnold might throw that much, but I doubt May will.
Here you go. Here's one you could put down. No touchdowns in the game, plus 17,500.
Yeah, that's
put a buck down. Why not?
Yeah, you can. I mean, that's the way to do it. 50 cents a dollar just in case. You know?
The game go to double overtime, plus 10,000. Double overtime. We've only had 2 overtime games in the history of the Super Bowl. The fact we get double.
Well, that's why they like a lot of those bets. People they'll take $20 and throw a buck on each one or
Here's
something.
Here's one for you. Here you've talked about the wide receivers. Cooper Kupp to throw a passing touchdown, plus 2,700. So there you go. You get that. On that.
What's the chances of that happening?
Again, who knows? That's why you put 50 cents on it. You're walking away. You're smiling on Sunday night. Now,
right. If it ever hit, it'd be awesome.
Now, you actually partake in more of, which is more popular around offices and as the pools with the numbers. So what's the sweet spot there? Is it
there isn't one.
0 and 3, 7 and 3?
I've had some awesome numbers that never hit, and then you get a freako number that 9 and 2 and it wins. You know, you never know.
How do you get 9? What do you do? What?
Yeah, 9 and 2 is hit. You go back and look; it's hit a couple 3 times.
So there's no strategy involved in that. You're saying?
No, it's just you. Especially now because they go for 2 a lot.
They do.
Yep. They miss a lot of extra points. They never go for it anymore. A field goal. They always try and score and end up with nothing. So you're screaming at the TV, "Don't do it! Don't do it!"
This is spoken like a true degenerate right now. It's fantastic. Dan
Patrick had Charles Barkley on the other day, and he had $250,000 on Seattle to win.
right?
Okay.
And when they were going down to, or the Rams were going in to try to score it, and he's screaming at the TV. He said not to kick a field goal because then he'd have lost. He wouldn't have covered. But he ended up winning it.
That's a
imagine that, 250
Monopoly.
grand.
Yeah, it's Monopoly money. I can't even.
Yeah.
I sweat it out in the eliminator, and there's $50 on the line. I can't imagine $250,000 on the line.
Well, and he said he's lost the last 3 Super Bowls in a row. So it's
Well, when money's of no object to that guy, there you go. You can go and do something like that.
That's all TV money. There it goes.
What do we make of the actual game? Do you think this is going to be a good one?
I got a feeling it's going to be, yeah. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. But I ain't sure what the over is, but I'd probably bet the under.
Well, last I heard of it, I think it was 35, I want to say. So
I might be over that then. I didn't think it was that low.
They were set for a pretty good defensive game. So, I mean, these two teams have great. Actually, they moved it up now. It's 45.5.
Oh, I'll see. I might go the under with that, but
I could see a 24-17, 24-20 kind of game happening.
Yeah, 40 points is not a lot, really. I mean, they both all it takes is one quarter to get really hot.
Well, to me, I'm really interested to see a couple things here. A, how Drake May plays, because he's been great all year. He got dinged up, but no one's going to say how actually he's feeling right now after the Broncos game. But this is certainly the biggest challenge they had. Now, New England did not have a difficult schedule the regular season because they were bad last year. That's the benefit of what happens in the NFL. But they went and won in Denver. Granted, the Broncos had their backup quarterback in the game. So, I mean, that's
they're throwing all these things out there why they shouldn't even be there, but they're there. So get over it.
Exactly. And see, I know you mentioned the Darnold thing. For people out here, Dad, they can't get over the Vikings just fired their GM because the guy who was quarterbacking them last year is now in the Super Bowl with the Seahawks.
I know. I'm surprised they gave up on him. They should have just one more year, maybe. But that's a lot of money that he was going to take,
They just weren't going to do that, and they wanted to start JJ's clock, and we know the rest happened.
Maybe because they gave Cousins hundreds of millions and got nothing, so why would they do it again?
See, why are you throwing Kirk Cousins under the bus? He's been on TV all week.
Who?
Cousins has been. I don't know if
that's where he does his best work.
Well, he's going to make. I'm telling you, he was on. I think he was on CBS before the AFC chat. He's going to be really good on TV too. He's going to make a buttload.
He's another one who'll make a bundle on TV.
So,
didn't the Vikings sign him for $100 million?
It was pretty close to that. Yeah.
Down
there.
Yeah, there you go. There's money you throw right in the river.
And the Falcons did it too. They weren't the only ones that did it. Along the way.
Imagine the money they must make that they can do that is just phenomenal.
It's the NFL, man.
Just throw it away.
I know.
Because it's not, the guy's never going to be any good.
NBC this weekend. How do you feel about Tirico and Collinsworth? You on board with these guys? I know. I
really like Tirico. Collinsworth, I can mute every day. Especially with New England in there. I mean, he was a lover. He was a lover of Brady. I think this is his 3rd Super Bowl with New England being in it.
It might be 4.
I'd seen the other day. They said it was 3 or 4.
NBC definitely had the one in Minneapolis because Al and Chris did that one, and that was New England and Philly in that one. The Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Seahawks, NBC had that one, and the Giants' second one again. Yeah, this is 4. It's right.
Yeah.
This is 4.
They said it was 3 or 4. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Every time he's there, the Patriots are there. But this time, I got to hear him drooling over Brady every play. So
what's your dream announce combo? And you can't say me because that would be great.
Well, that would be great. But I told you I like Al Michaels and Herb Street. I think they do a great job.
Really?
Yeah.
On the Amazon call.
I like the whole Amazon thing.
Okay.
I really do. The pregame, after the game, they don't just run away like everybody else does. They stay right there.
So next year, ESPN has it, ABC. So that's Buck and Aikman will have it next year for the first time. And
I don't mind those two.
They haven't had it in forever, so that will be.
I'm surprised they did that, but they're putting it on ABC, so they also have free TV.
That's exactly right. So everybody can see it there. The talk this week is they announced there's a game going to be in Australia next year. Another game in Brazil. They're going Spain,
Mexico. I see that.
Mexico. They're going back. Is if the Super Bowl would ever be played overseas. I don't know if I don't know your lifetime if that'll happen.
They should never do that. That's our game. Don't put that anywhere, man.
Well, if they have a chance to make money, they're going to do it. You know, that's.
I think they'd turn a lot of people off if they did that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what time are they going to play this? Australia is 16 hours ahead of Eastern time. I don't know. What time are they going to play this game?
Yeah, well, that'll be something, too.
You know, I mean, if it's 3 o'clock Australian time, it's like 10 o'clock. I don't know. I can't do the math in my head. It's crazy. I don't know how they figured that out.
Yeah, well, they will. You know that.
I said he
They'll have it so you can watch it for sure.
What's on the menu? What are you going to have Sunday? Anything good?
Pizza and wings and all the dips, all kinds of stuff.
All right, very good.
We always do. We always have too much, to tell you the truth. But this will be the first time I've left my home to watch it.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
First time, and I did it once years and years ago when you guys were little, and I hadn't done it since.
That's only because of
Sophie. You're
leaving because of Sophie. Let's just get it out there.
Yes, because it's going to be minus 10. That way she ain't got to be out.
It's going to be that cold this weekend. Wow.
Oh yeah, they're calling for the coldest all year. The next 2 days.
You got some North Dakota cold coming your way.
Yeah. And not only the cold, the wind. So.
Oh, there you go. You can thank us for it later.
There you go.
Last thing. Will you watch any? Where's our poll question today? Will you watch any Olympics? Will you have it on or no? Is it not?
Yeah, I like the sleds, the bobsleds, and the skiing. I like a lot of that stuff.
Okay. You're just waiting for somebody to crash, basically, aren't you?
Oh no, I love the bobsleds. Yeah, those guys are crazy.
Yes. Man. The luge is scarier because you're flat on your back. I don't know what you're doing. You can't see anything. I don't know how you're doing it.
It's got to be pretty cool, man, to go down through that. That thing is nuts.
Last thing, because this is our last regular Friday appearance, but next Friday you are going to be where?
In Daytona.
Wow. Well, there you go.
You're going to have me on? I'll be on the beach.
Well, can you guarantee any of your buddies will wear their shirts? Because the last time we did this,
I can't guarantee nothing with this bunch. I'll tell you right now.
How excited are you to go back?
Good. I can't wait. At least I'll be a little bit healthier this time. Hopefully it'll be fun. It'll be my last one, I think, because I'm going to – I mean, they did something crazy. There's no more tickets. They're all on my phone.
What's crazy about that?
Because what if I lose my phone?
You're not –
What if I do, though?
You're not going to lose your phone.
What if the service goes out? How do I get those tickets up if the service goes out? Think about that.
So there you go.
I got all 7 tickets on my phone.
You're not going to lose.
So all 7 of us, and we're going to try and transfer them, and we're afraid something will happen there. So I said, if all 7 of us go in together, we won't have to worry.
Oh my God! Oh, I love
so what if my phone dies?
Your phone's not going to.
You don't know that. The last time I was there, when Trump showed up, they killed everybody's phone. Remember? I told you.
I do remember that.
You couldn't use your phone at all because they killed everybody's phone. Now you got to have your phone because all your tickets are on your phone.
Oh, my God. This is a perfect old man rant to end the week.
Yeah, you're right. It is an old man rant. It'll be even worse if something happens along the line.
It'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. We gotta go.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
It'll be fine.
All computerized, and then all of a sudden you ain't got no service. Or you can't get in because you can't find
literally,
your ticket.
for everyone watching, this is literally a conversation I have with him almost every time I talk. This is perfect what you're seeing a window into.
But I'll be calling you for bail money if something happens to these tickets. I'll tell you that now.
I love you. I'll talk to you on Sunday, okay?
All right, man. I love you too. Have a great weekend.
There goes my pops.
Enjoy the game.
Yeah, it was been great. Seahawks and the Patriots coming up on Sunday night on NBC. Oh my God! All right, we'll take our final break. We come back. We'll put a bow on things and wrap things up. Get you ready for a super sports weekend. That's coming up. We wrap things up after this. Friday morning. Thanks to all our great guests this week. If you missed any of our shows, you can podcast them back. I know many people do that. Appreciate you going back and listening to our show. Of course, you can rewatch our shows as well, available on WDAY+. If you missed our conversation we had with Gray Zabel back on Monday, Dan Larson was here on Wednesday. Dave Richmond's spot was electric on Tuesday. So all of those interviews are available. Lockway was great. Jack Juleson, Bismarck Legacy wide receiver on signing with MSUM. All those conversations are available WDAY+, Inforum.com to check that out. I thought this is the best headline on what to expect this week. As the Milan-Cortina games began, the world is not perfect. But after 3 Winter Olympics in difficult time zones, authoritarian countries are under COVID lockdowns, the pasta and cannoli Olympics are a welcome sight. That's exactly how I feel about it. You know, like 2018 was South Korea, or actually 2014 was Russia. 2018 was South Korea, and then China, which the last one in 2022. So I mean, it's been a kind of a rough stretch here. So they have this in Italy. The next ones are in the French Alps, and then Salt Lake City gets it again in 2034. So is this the turnaround? We'll see. The summer games certainly got a boost from the games in Paris. The poll question today is, will you watch the Winter Olympics that are beginning? 50% say can't wait. 39% say just a little. About 11% say not interested. It's about what I thought. Appreciate people voting on that. We'll see. It all gets going here in about a couple hours. Let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. What to Watch brought to us by our friends at Northwestern Mutual. We got our high school game of the week coming up tonight. Red River and Davies, girls hoops, 7 o'clock here on WDAY Extra. Also tonight, we've got the Pelicans and the Wolves. New look Timberwolves coming up tonight, 7 o'clock on FanDuel Sports North. Round 2 of the Waste Management Open gets going at 2 o'clock on the Golf Channel. And as I mentioned, the opening ceremony from Milan, you can watch it live on NBC at 1 o'clock. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got Bison men's basketball for you, NDSU in Omaha on Extra. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock. The U.S. women's hockey team plays tomorrow morning, 9:40 against Finland. Wolves play Sunday at 2:30. And oh yeah, there's the Super Bowl coming up Sunday night, 5:30 on NBC. Our thanks to the Sundells, to Taylor Krenz, of course, to my dad. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.